So the reason that these guys aren't buying your coaching offer or program or course is because they see you as a business trying to sell them something and not a brand or someone who can intimately help them with their specific problem, right? And so we have to break down why is that and what can we do to actually solve that problem. So what we're going to actually do is hop into Figma. So just a heads up on who I am. My name is Lou and I run a YouTube ads agency. I build YouTube ads and optimize funnels for my clients to generate them more revenue and get them the results that they're looking for. So if we start out, we have an ad, right? So we're just going to draw a quick ad. Okay. So this is an ad. This is what typically an ad. It could be a YouTube ad, it could be a Facebook ad, a TikTok ad, whatever it is, right? So typically this is how people, when it comes to cold traffic, this is what they do with their offer, right? So they look at things very linearly. So they look at the ad, and this is a good thing because it keeps things simple in the beginning, right? So they have the ad, and then they have some kind of conversion mechanism here. Sometimes it's like let's just do an opt-in, okay? So we're just gonna put opt-in. All right. So just a simple kind of opt-in page. You already know how these go: name, email, phone. So we're just going to do something like that, right? And then there's sometimes some kind of text below there. So after an opt-in, they go into this is the conversion mechanism right here, right? So sometimes it's a video, sometimes it's a webinar. Either way, it's some kind of stimulus that you give them that converts them into the next, and you could say final step, right? So we could say for now, let's just pretend this is a VSL funnel, but this could be really like anything. It could be a webinar, it could be a challenge, it could be whatever, right? So after that, let's zoom out for just a little bit so we can see, all right? And then after the VSL or whatever conversion mechanism, it goes straight into like an application, right? So we're just going to put this, and you're just going to have to mind my drawing, okay? I'm going to get better at this as I go. So you go to an application, and after that, they go into a call. And so this is a standard, pretty typical funnel, right? This can change, this can vary, but most funnels, they are structured in some kind of way where at the end, it goes into a call for your coaching offer, or maybe a more expensive course, or it could be something where it doesn't even require a call. It's just a course, $1,000, $2,000 to a little bit less money, but however way you do it, right? This is how most coaches, this is what they're doing in the space, right? And so what they do is they run ads, they run it for like a month or something, and they keep it basic in the beginning because that's what everybody tells you to do. And then they get the results and they're like, wow, I got like one sale or something, or it's not consistent, and why is that? Okay, so there's reasons that you already know why this wouldn't convert on the first run, right? So number one is after the opt-in, there's nothing nurturing them to get them to book a call, right? So usually there's things right here, that would bring them to go into the call, right? So the first thing is actually making sure that you have an email sequence, okay? Pretty simple. Most people are doing this, sometimes the deliverability isn't good, but they're doing it nonetheless, right? So we can just put email here, right? So that's the first thing people do typically when it comes to these funnels. They have an email sequence, or maybe they even put them in their emails, newsletters to get them nurtured as they go. So even if they fall out the process, at least they're getting emails from you daily, weekly, or whatever time frame that you have that reminds them of your offer and how you can help them and also gives them value, right? This is pretty basic stuff. So next thing, right? Next thing is going to be setters. Everybody knows that, like, especially when you start running a lot more budget, it's always good to have setters, right? So setters will dial and call these leads that opt in. Yes, you want to make sure you have a phone number there in the opt-in. Even if it lessens the opt-in conversion rate, having the phone number and having a good setter dialing the numbers is always going to help. And the thing that people don't understand is that the setter doesn't have to sell them on the phone. The whole idea is that you want to make sure that you're leaving a good impression of your business, because that setter represents your entire business to that one person. So you have to make sure that setter is actually taking care of these people. They are not just being super salesy and stuff. Actually, see if you can get your setter to even help them. Maybe if the setters could be even more knowledgeable about your offer, what you do. And so these guys, when they call them and the setters see, oh, you have this kind of problem. Let's say you're selling YouTube ads like me, right? So the setter would call you and say, oh, I see that you're having trouble with your YouTube ads campaigns, right? Or, oh, I see that you're wanting to scale with YouTube ads. What's stopping you? Or whatever it is, right? A kind of question that's relevant to what they're going through. That's basically You want the setter to ask that and answer that and be capable of answering questions like those and conversing with your prospects. Because what this does is leave a very good impression when they do answer the phone of the type of business you run and the type of people you hire, which encourages them to continue through that cycle, right? Next thing is content. It's pretty self-explanatory, but just generally having any content and promoting it through your emails as well is always a good idea. What's nice is YouTube is a universal platform, which means that you can make your content or focus your content on YouTube, or you could do something like Twitter, right? They're both universal in the sense it's text or video, right? But YouTube's especially nice. I like YouTube the most. You can put your content on YouTube and then email people out that content, right? Or you can do a tweet. You can tweet about stuff, or do a thread, and then do an email campaign with the stuff you just put on Twitter on there, right? These are all nurturing mechanisms people use often to get people to stay in their ecosystems, because this is the thing. When people see the ad, they have things going on in their life. They will probably drop off. Most of them are going to drop off. That's the whole point of a funnel, right? So they go from the ad to the opt-in. People drop off there. They opt into the VSL, and then VSL to the application to book a call, and then they have to show up for the call, right? People drop off at all these stages. And what this nurturing system what this ecosystem does is act like a net. Another fourth thing that people don't use enough in their ecosystem is actually remarketing, right? So I'm just going to put RM, right? Just $50 a day, $25 a day. You just want to run normal remarketing ads to people who land on these pages and interact with you so they can get you at the top of their mind again, right? That's the whole point. Now, this is a pretty standard nurturing system. Like I said, this is what most people, like most established coaches, this is what they run with their ads. It's going to be a funnel similar to this. It could be webinars. It could be a challenge. It could be just a VSL. It could be a variety of different conversion mechanisms, but the same principle still applies no matter what this VSL conversion mechanism is. The whole point is that you're getting people to opt in and you're nurturing them before they get on a call, right? But this is not the only thing. And this is where coaches mess up a lot, right? When they start getting bigger or start selling more info-based products, things that are done where it's do it yourself instead of done with you or done for you, they tend to have more core offers, right? So it'll be like a $7 book or $47 mini masterclass or something like that, right? And what they forget is this whole ecosystem part, right? And so when you're doing something like that, okay, let's say you have organic traffic, right? So we can just put organic right here, right? So you have an organic, and then what you want to do is you have that core offer there, right? So for this example, we can use a book. The end goal is still the same. You want people to get into your higher ticket stuff, right? You got to make money somehow, but you have to remember that when it comes to the nurturing process for things that have a low ticket barrier to entry, it's going to be a bit more longer and drawn out of a conversion process, right? Which is why it's really important that the content, the things that you show them, the stimulus that you put in front of them are all dialed in and good so that it leaves the right impression in their business, right? This book has to be good and they have to see it as valuable if you want them to get to the next stage, right? So if we go back and look at Figma, right? So we have this $7 book right here, right? So what comes after this, right? So typically what would happen is they would then, apply and book a call, right? Some kind of process would happen here, and then they would apply, right? This whole kind of section right here, this is what they would do. So literally we can just copy and paste that whole thing and put it right there. That's basically what would happen, right? But it's this process, again, right here, that's very important. So what you do now that you're the whole process, the whole reason that you're doing this now is you're building that medium funnel kind of pipeline. So all of that stuff here, that's what you'd be doing here, right? You'd be having that content, you'd be dialing in the emails, you'd have the setters call them, right? You have all these things dialed up to 100 to make sure that they actually apply and book a call. And without these things in this kind of funnel, things are especially going to break, because a lot of people are going to buy the $7 book, but they're not going to go and book a call, or they're not going to go and get your $2,000 course. They're probably not going to get your $200 course, let alone your $2,000 one, right? So you have to approach this kind of funnel with a lot more seriousness when it comes to the ecosystem part of it, right? And we can take this all the way back to the front end as well when it comes to your content as well. So the whole reason that your content is there is to switch people's belief systems and indoctrinate them into thinking that your solution, your thinking, is the answer to their problems. That's the whole idea of content. And if we take that there, that in itself is part of the ecosystem as a whole, right? This whole ecosystem, the whole idea is to make getting to the next step easier and more seamless. And if you're not doing that with this, especially when there's funnels like this that have to have a nurturing process in order for it to even work. So a lot of people see organic as an ecosystem, and they see that that model works because we've been trained. Everybody knows that Alex Hormozi teaches it, everybody knows, but they don't know the same when it comes to paid advertising as well. Right? They don't know that, oh, if I run ads to this book and people that buy the book, if they're not getting on a call or application advert, the ads don't work. We just need to shut off the whole funnel. It doesn't work. No, it's just going to be a longer, more drawn out process. You're going to need to see how long it takes for people to actually, from when they get that book, how long on average does it take for them to actually book a call? It might be 2 weeks, might be a month. It could be a while. It depends on so many factors that are not really in your control, but the only thing you can control is reminding them that you exist and giving them value, right? That's the whole point. And another thing to also keep in mind is that if you decide, okay, hey, I want to start selling a $47 product after this book or doing something like that, going in levels, then you can do that. But just know that it's what you're doing by adding those steps is making it even more long and more drawn out. It's going to be even more difficult for them to get to your higher end product. Now, it depends on how expensive this thing is and how exclusive it is for you, right? So if you're selling a mastermind, $20,000 ticket, I don't know, the whole thing is that's going to be different, right? It's going to be something that's way more exclusive where you only really want people that are super dialed in. So it makes sense to have the ecosystem have more steps there, because the whole point is that you're trying to get the people that do end up showing dialed in into who you are, what you do, and how you can help them. That's the whole point. So I hope this was insightful for you. If you have any questions, let me know. Just put it in the comments or DM me. I'll respond to all of them. If you guys want to see even more content like this, just let me know by liking the video so that I can know to keep making content like this, because I like making content like this where I'm just breaking down concepts like this. So you guys take care, and I'll see you in the next one.